Welcome back, Starcraft lovers and fans. Today we've got a match between Flashgood and DoYou. DoYou is playing on the red Protoss here on the bottom corner of the map, whereas Flashgood is situated right above him. Now it's time for some context. Who might these two players be? Well, let's start off with DoYou. DoYou he's already appeared a couple of times before. He is known as Voss and JH. He's here playing the Protoss, which is not his main race. But, well, he does have the base skills to pull off a very good Protoss, as we've already seen a couple of times in the past. Though I do think that his Protoss is definitely not his best race. And if you compare it to some other top 1 versus 1 fastest users, he is not among the top Protoss players. Although, in the past couple of months, he has been patching it up. But, a bit more context, this replay is from October, somewhere the 13th, or between the 3rd and the 13th. Because that is the period that Mong, yes, we've got Mong again in a replay, used the name Flashgood after he beat Flash 3-0 on fastest map. Sadly, I don't have those replays. I am trying to get them from Mong, but communication is a little bit hard because his English is not up to par, and he might not even be interested in getting me those replays. That's just a process we'll have to wait for. So in the near future, I might have some Flash against Mong on fastest map playing a best of 3. But for now, we'll have to make do with JH fighting against Mong in the classic Protoss versus Terran matchup. I don't really like these two colors, how they appear on the minimap, but they do appear quite pretty when you look at them in game itself. So I'm gonna go for the normal colors that they picked or received randomly. So yeah, JH starts off with the +1 Nexus build. 2 cannons there in the front, the Marine attack and the cannons there in the front as well. Mother Marine gets pulled over, SV gets pulled over as well. So he is going to try to pressure this. JH is trying to buy some time by sending a very small amount of probes over to try and stop the damage from those Marines to get that cannon up here in the front. But he's being a little bit low-bally there. The cannon here in the front is going to go down, the cannon in the back is finishing up. So the Marines are forced to pull away, but I think Mong is going to try his luck and go in again a little bit later once he has more Marines joining the fray here, so we can go in before those 2 cannons finish. Gas already up for DoYou. He didn't make a cybernetics core yet because he had to adjust to the lower amount of income and having to spend more minerals on those cannons here inside of his choke. Mong is going for the +1 command center. He discontinued his marine production, so not all in aggression from Mong, although I think he could afford it if he went for a very quick academy and stim upgrade. He could probably force his way through, but it looks like he isn't planning on risking it because he went for somewhat of a late gas, so his academy has only just now started, and once again he's saving up money. Not anymore. I thought he was going to save up money for a 3rd command center, but he's going for Marines once again, so no 3rd command center coming out yet. It might be in the future, but at the moment it's not there. Factory already up and running. Cybernetics core for JH has finished. He's added on 2 more gateways as well. So he's going for the gateways very early, even going for Dragoon range. So he's mixing it up and going for Dragoons instead of going for drop tech, which is an interesting adjustment and change he's making from what he was originally doing. But engineering bay coming out here for Mong. Stim upgrade is on the way. Making a depot there in front. Once the wall is front off, he's definitely not intending to be the aggressor yet. He prefers to be on the defending end, the receiving end of JH's build order. Honestly, would have liked to see him go aggressive, but perhaps it's for the better. Because if he goes aggressive and those Dragoons wind up getting the counter on those Marines, stimming themselves into death into those cannons, JH might very well just win the game very early on. So even without the information that JH is going for those Dragoons, Mong somewhat picked the right choice. He's already got that machine shop finished up on his factory. He's Making more depots here in the front. He's got detection there as well. There comes the first scan. He scans the front here, sees 3 Dragoons, sees no Robos here in the front. Robos, of course, might also be located here, but they are not in this case. But I think Mong has got enough information at the moment to just go for a very defensive build. He's already making the bunker there in the front as well. Now those Dragoons from JH are on the offense, and Mong very quickly stims his Marines back to base because he wants to set himself up for defense. Luckily for him, or well, maybe unluckily for him, he only just now started his siege mode upgrade. He does have a tank on the way there, but JH is putting some pressure up on the front here. First going for those depots, putting those Dragoons on hold position as he has his range finished up. Dragoons on hold position can also hit the bunker there, so the bunker's gonna have to get repaired by Mong. Mong starts repairing it. The Marines there sacrificed themselves for the greater good because they did facilitate the repair on the bunker. But it might be too late here, or is he going to be just in time? He's pulling more SCVs to the front to help repair bunkers, and siege mode is just now finishing up, and second tank is rolling in. So either JH has to go very, very aggressive here and aim for those tanks in the back there, or pull back. Mong very wisely puts his Marines there on the top side, not on the bottom side, but on the top side, to block off the one pathway that JH would theoretically have to get in and snipe those tanks. So Mong is using all of his knowledge, experience from his years as a pro player, to set himself up for a very, very good defense. JH tried, but it didn't work. So now JH has to switch over to shuttles. There's of course support blade there to help facilitate shuttle speed, but also the Reavers, Citadel of Doom making lags. I don't see a Templar's archive yet, and it looks like he's not going for one either. Instead he's going for more Dragoons, more Zealots, and upgrades of course there. That's where the gas went. Graphitic boosters, shuttle speed upgrade. He's going for the shuttle speed upgrade there. And factor number 2 is finished there for Mong. He's now adding on more barracks, so no starport yet. He's banking on Marines for the drop defense later on. One tank there sieged in the 2 tanks there sieged in the back to protect his depots, to protect those turrets that are going to be made there. Engineering bay being made to hover up on the hill. And a pretty nice depot wall here in the front. It's a little bit crooked, but it serves its purpose, which is what counts. So 41 SCVs, he's got level 1 weapon upgrade finished up. 60 probes here for JH. There's the Templar's archive. He's got storm upgrade on the way, of course, because he wants to employ those storm upgrades, which is honestly one of the best upgrades you can get as a Protoss against a Terran. It just deals so much damage, and of course it kills workers really, really quick. Yeah, 3 robotics to spam out drops. The distance into Mong's base is, luckily for JH, very, very short. So if he can really just start spamming out those drops into JH's base, into Mong's base, and hopefully start dealing significant amounts of damage, or maybe Mong will have no problem fighting this off. Mong is now sieging tanks up on the side here, protect his engineering base, but also to kill those Dragoons on the other side. But Dragoons can shoot just over the hill, so the tanks are going to go down with the assistance of the vision this shuttle is providing. He quickly tries to unsiege and pull back, but he's not quick enough. So now Mong sieges up a little bit further away outside of the Dragoon range, but he can still shoot on the Dragoons. Smart move, trying to kill the turrets here with the Dragoons by JH, but it's not going to work. But shuttles have been loaded up, shuttles are flying in. Mong responds very quickly because he sees it, and he tries to stim down those Zealots and the shuttles. He stims down 2 shuttles, 3 shuttles, and a couple of those Zealots make it out alive onto the ground, but they do end up going down before taking down any of those tanks. Really good repair here from Mong as well. So Mong's base is still somewhat small, but he's spending his money really, really wisely. Command Center number 3 there on the way. He's got Vessel on the way as well. Don't know if he got any EMP upgrades. He's getting more weapon upgrades for his Marines. So that will be 0-2. I don't see an armory yet, but he's going to need those tank upgrades in the near future. JH is scrambling to set himself up for a very good offense here, but Mong honestly already taking control over the hill, which is one of the only forms of spot abuse there is taking control over a hill and pretty much just sieging your tanks and shooting into the enemy base, keeping them somewhat smaller. But luckily JH does have a lot of room here just outside of the tank range to build his base and formulate his attacks. that Mong is gonna have to respond to. And the top side here is entirely open. He did use his scan here on the front. He sees a lot of robos, but he sees no drop leaving the base. The drop comes flying in from the top side of Mong's base. Mong is out of position. All of the units are on the bottom side, so this was going to fly in all the way. Mong pulls away from the storms. And storm number 2 tries to go down as well. Storm number 3 there. Storm number 4 even. He storms all the wrong things, which means that Mong's workers are mostly going to stay alive here as they dodge there to the bottom side of the gas. JH there had the chance to storm them, but he decided to storm other things. Partially because he couldn't see how many SCVs had dodged here to the bottom side and how many had dodged to the top side. But he did pick up about 14 or 20, somewhere in between. I'm not entirely sure, but he did deal some damage, but not a lot of damage. Which now gives Mong the opportunity to start going on the offense. As he cleared out those tanks, those cannons in the front, but that drop comes in here. This time around, Mong is not really dodging to great success. He loses about 12 of his workers, which is more than he could have lost. Yeah, it's more than he should have lost, considering he had the chance to dodge. But nonetheless, he's capable of pushing the front in here. And JH is pushed on his hind foot, now forced to respond and defend to this attack from Mong. Mong's attack is somewhat small, and JH is instead just rolling up a mass drop here, or is he just keeping... Never mind, he's just keeping those shuttles safe. Carriers are on the way here though. Mong is looking extremely scary here, and JH is really caught in his hind foot here. Mong decided to move out at about 10 minutes in before he even built an entire base, just because he knew that he had the hill here, and he started taking down a lot of JH's buildings inside of JH's own base. Now he can go on the offensive, and really he's doing a lot of work. Those 2 early vessels are helping him kill those Dark Templars. More Marines are coming in, more tanks are coming in, but now the Zealots are on the pushback from JH. Zealots have level 2 armor upgrades, so they're pretty tough to kill by those upgradeless tanks. Tanks up the hill there getting cleared out. Marines there still pretty strong, but now the carriers are finished up. He does have Interceptor capacity finished up, so those carriers are quite early, and Mong does not yet have sufficient units there to really fight against those carriers. He's going to need turrets here, he's going to need Goliaths. Now he only has Marines, he doesn't have a lot of medics, so he can stim down a couple of those interceptors, but it's going to be slow and hard and a tedious process to tear through those units. So there is a small chance here that JH can push back against the aggressor. Single shuttle flying all over the map, looking for a hole to penetrate through to reach the minerals, and it might just work. Unless, of course, he picks a really bad spot. Mass attack here coming in from Mong. Going deeper and deeper into the base, pushing deeper and deeper. JH is really in a bad spot here, but the drop flies in, and this time around there is no response from Mong. Mong alone, but Mong actually... The Templar dies instantly because there was no Zealot inside that shuttle to help him take focus away, but he's going in with another drop. This time he does have a Zealot and a Templar. Storm's coming down here inside of JH's base. JH defending himself pretty well against those Marines and tanks. There is the Storm drop, and the Storm drop kills most of the SCVs there on the minerals, but Mong already has the upper hand over JH here, and the only thing that's going to save JH here is if he gets some really good Storms off on those Marines and those tanks and manages to tear through. But there's so many buts. Mong has about 30 SCVs, about 25 SCVs on his mineral, so he can keep producing Marines. He can probably produce 3 more tanks, and he can produce a lot of Vultures there as well. Plus he's got some SCVs here inside of JH's base, ready to make turrets to fight back against those carriers. The carrier count is now on 5. Number 6 is not going to come out, and he didn't build an expo because he's so occupied with defending himself that Mong is just being too oppressive here. Too oppressive. Almost being pushed back all the way to his nexus. And yeah, I didn't expect Mong to just go out and go on this very hard counter push so early on, because it's not something we often see. But Mong just felt in his gut that, hey, now is the chance to go. That's also one of the benefits you have from always scanning your opponent, is you get some really nice information, and sometimes you see that, hey, my opponent has very little, I can probably go into counterattack. Great defensive matrix there, keeping his tanks alive. Now his tanks can push in a little bit further. All the interceptors keep dying. There's a drop coming in here from the top side. It's about 7 Zealots. 6 Zealots and a single Templar, but will it be enough? I doubt it. I honestly doubt it, because Mong is already so deep inside of GH's base. Drop comes flying in. Mong is not really responding. Mong is now pulling his SCVs off of his minerals, but the Storm actually gets a pretty healthy amount there. That's about 16, 17, maybe 18 workers of Mong that died there. So his income is at an all-time low, and GH is here building an expo. Mong actually scouts the expo there because he threw a scan down on all those middle spots, so he does know that JH now has an expo, and he can go in and kill that expo before those gateways finish and before Zealots are going to be coming out. JH also looking for another base to build. Nope, that's a Templar. He's going to go in for one more Storm while replenishing his interceptors here with those carriers. The number of turrets is honestly just way too high, and there's a lot of reinforcements here from Mong as well that are ready to walk into JH's base and mow down whatever's there, specifically those interceptors. But looks like JH is forsaking his real base and going for the proxy base, and he's trying to make 2 proxy bases. Actually, this one is going to go down first, and I don't think he will have enough time. Is this drop going to hit though? Flies in once again. Templar is on the low ground, but the Templar is too far away. He's got to pick it up. He picks it up. Shuttle is in danger of dying. 2 of those Marines tipping it down, and actually it does go down. But there's a plus side here. Mong is clearing. JH is clearing out this tiny mass here from Mong, but Mong did kill most of the probes that were there. There's only a single one left alive, but Zealots are spawning, and JH has a huge bank. He's got 8,000. Mong is very, very small, so Mong has to pull back to his own base very, very quick. He doesn't even have to clear this out. He can honestly just retreat back to base, sit tight for a couple while, and survive this. This is going to be very close, closer than I thought. Though Mong is already back on 51 workers. He really recovered really, really quick, all the way down from 28. So it's only in about a minute. He's already back on 52, 54. So he can produce a lot of Goliaths here to fight against those carriers, but Zealots are going to come in as well. He has to pull back those tanks if he doesn't want to get overrun. Because those Zealots are going to be very painful because they have 2-1-1 upgrades, whereas Mong's ground forces have 0-2 on the Marines and 0-1 on the Goliaths. So yeah, Zealots are coming in. More Zealots are being made. Marines are now being pulled back. Tanks are being pulled back as well. Once those tanks arrive back in base, Mong should be completely fine. But until then, this could still go either way, because JH still has 4,400 in the bank, which is about 44 Zealots that he can throw out and deal damage with against Mong, but Mong's minerals have completely recovered, so in that sense he should be fine. Also, the interceptors are dying rather quick to the turrets and the Goliaths and the Marines there, so this might actually just be a futile attempt at trying to recover himself in a situation which is unrecoverable. Mong just pretty much completely ran JH over with superior skill, really. This is a really good Terran that he's been displaying here. There's a lot of good control, a lot of great choices, a lot of very, very, very great defensive matrices, and most of all, very, very good macro-micro. Yeah, quick win here from Mong, showing us that Terran versus Protoss can look different from the usual Terran camping it out, trying to survive the harass from the Protoss, and that there's oftentimes a very, 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 very small short window where the Terran can go on a very early counterattack to try and nip it in the bud before the Protoss becomes too big to counterattack like this. So really well played from Mong there. He really displays us some really nice stuff. And I hope you enjoyed this one, because I'm going to keep it on this one. There is a replay number 2, but replay number 2 is 36 minutes long. And it's a little bit too long for me to cast in a single running. So I'm just going to leave that for the next video. Probably gonna leave it for the next video, because right now it's already pretty late, and tomorrow I might cast it during the day, which should give me a little bit more time to cast it. But all that aside, thanks for watching, hope you have a great day, and stay safe, stay healthy.